Some people don't hate you loudly, they don't scream at you, they don't attack you directly. In fact, some of them smile at you every single day. They ask how you're doing. They laugh at your jokes, they sit next to you, support you in public, and sometimes they even call themselves your friend. But deep inside, something darker exists, a hidden resentment, a silent jealousy, an emotion they work very hard to hide. And the terrifying part is, most people never notice it until the damage is already done. Because secret hatred doesn't reveal itself through obvious words, it leaks through behavior. Tiny moments, small reactions, micro expressions most people ignore. Psychologists have studied this for years. Human beings are emotional creatures. No matter how hard someone pretends, emotions always escape somewhere. Sometimes through body language, sometimes through silence, sometimes through fake kindness. And once you learn to recognize the signs, you start seeing people differently forever. There's a strange story from a small office in Chicago. Two men worked together for almost 5 years. Jason was quiet, hardworking, respectful, the kind of person who avoided drama. And then there was Marcus, funny, charming, friendly with everyone. At least that's how he appeared. Every morning, Marcus would greet Jason with a smile. He'd ask about his family, bring him coffee sometimes, tell coworkers they were good friends. From the outside, everything looked normal. But slowly, strange things started happening. Whenever Jason shared a new idea in meetings, Marcus would immediately criticize it. Not aggressively, subtly, just enough to plant doubt. If Jason got praised by the manager, Marcus suddenly became quiet for the rest of the day. If Jason made even a tiny mistake, Marcus would bring it up repeatedly as a joke. At first, Jason ignored it, because hatred hidden behind humor is difficult to detect. Then one day, Jason got promoted. Everyone congratulated him, except Marcus. Marcus smiled, shook his hand, said all the right words, but his eyes looked empty. And over the next few months, Jason discovered something disturbing. Rumors about him had quietly spread through the office. People suddenly became distant. Projects disappeared, opportunities vanished, and eventually he found out the truth. The person secretly damaging his reputation the entire time was Marcus, the same man who smiled in his face every day. That's the thing about hidden hatred. It rarely looks dangerous in the beginning. Most people imagine enemies as loud, obvious, aggressive. But in reality, the most dangerous resentment is silent. Because silent hatred has patience, and psychology explains why. People who secretly dislike you usually don't want open conflict. Open hatred exposes them. It reveals insecurity, jealousy, bitterness. So instead, they hide it beneath social masks. Human beings are experts at pretending, but emotions always leak through behavior. Always. One of the first signs is subtle negativity around your success. Watch carefully how people react when good things happen to you, not what they say, how they react. Real support feels natural. There's excitement, energy, warmth, but hidden resentment creates emotional discomfort. Some people become strangely quiet when you succeed. Others immediately change the subject. Some minimize your achievement, and others pretend not to care at all. It's because your growth reminds them of their own dissatisfaction. Your success becomes evidence of what they failed to achieve, and envy is one of the most painful emotions humans experience. Most people think jealousy looks dramatic, but real jealousy is often silent. A forced smile, a delayed response, a compliment that feels cold. There's another story about a woman named Emily from New York. Emily spent years building her photography business. She worked late nights, missed vacations, sacrificed relationships, and eventually her work started gaining attention online. Thousands of followers, brands reaching out, money finally coming in. Her best friend, Sarah, always acted supportive. She commented hearts on every post, shared her photos, told everyone how proud she was. But privately, small things began to change. Sarah stopped responding to Emily's messages as quickly. She became distant whenever photography was mentioned, and every compliment carried hidden tension. You're lucky. Social media worked out for you. Lucky. Not hardworking, not talented. Lucky. That single word revealed everything. People who secretly resent you often reduce your success to luck because accepting your effort would force them to confront their own excuses. Over time, Sarah became colder, passive-aggressive, dismissive, and eventually, Emily discovered Sarah had been mocking her behind her back for months. Not because Emily hurt her, because envy slowly transformed admiration into resentment. That's another uncomfortable truth about human nature. Sometimes people hate you simply because you remind them of what they're not. And the more you grow, the more uncomfortable your presence becomes, especially insecure people. Because insecure people compare constantly. Everything feels like competition to them. Your appearance, your money, your relationships, your confidence, even your happiness. And hidden competition is one of the strongest signs someone secretly dislikes you. Healthy people celebrate others. Unhealthy people compete with everyone. You'll notice it in conversations. Every achievement you mention becomes an opportunity for them to prove they're better. You traveled somewhere? They traveled somewhere nicer. You got promoted? Their job pays more. You're tired? They're more exhausted. Everything becomes a contest because secretly resentful people cannot allow themselves to feel less than. Their ego won't tolerate it, so they constantly try to regain superiority. And the scary part is, many of them don't even realize they're doing it. Human beings are deeply emotional creatures pretending to be logical. Another major sign is fake kindness. This one confuses people the most because many secretly hateful people appear incredibly nice on the surface. But there's a difference between genuine kindness and strategic kindness. Genuine kindness feels peaceful. Strategic kindness feels performative, calculated, almost artificial. Some people are nice because they care about you. Others are nice because it helps them maintain access to your life, to your information, your trust, your vulnerability. And psychology calls this social masking, a behavior where people hide true emotions to protect their image. You see it everywhere. Coworkers, friends, even family members sometimes. There are parents who secretly resent their own children's success, friends who secretly pray your relationship fails, coworkers who secretly celebrate your mistakes. Not because they're evil monsters, because unresolved insecurity transforms people. Pain changes people. Jealousy changes people. Comparison changes people. There's an old quote that says, people clap the loudest for you until your success starts making them question their own life. And that's painfully true. Another sign most people ignore is subtle disrespect. Secretly resentful people rarely insult you directly. Instead, they attack you in socially acceptable ways, interrupting you constantly, mocking you as a joke, ignoring your opinions, speaking over you in groups, giving backhanded compliments. Tiny behaviors designed to slowly lower your confidence. And when you react, they act innocent. You're too sensitive. It was just a joke. But repeated disrespect is never accidental. Human behavior always has intention behind it. Always. There was a study in psychology showing that suppressed emotions eventually reveal themselves through indirect behavior. That's why someone can pretend to like you verbally while their actions quietly communicate hostility. Actions reveal truth, words hide it. Always pay attention to consistency. Someone who secretly dislikes you often becomes uncomfortable around your confidence. Confident people trigger insecure people because confidence exposes fear. That's why some people try to humble you constantly, not to help you grow, to make themselves feel safer. You'll notice they become uncomfortable when others praise you, especially in groups. They may suddenly bring up your past mistakes, embarrassing moments, weaknesses, anything to reduce the positive attention you're receiving, because hidden resentment seeks balance. If you rise too high, they feel emotionally smaller. And instead of improving themselves, they try pulling you down mentally. One of the darkest signs is emotional absence during your difficult moments. Real people reveal themselves during pain, not success. Anyone can celebrate with you when life is easy. But pay attention to who disappears when you struggle. Secretly resentful people often show very little empathy toward your suffering. Some even seem strangely satisfied by it. Not openly, subtly, a calmer tone, less enthusiasm, a hidden sense of relief, because your failure temporarily removes the pressure your success created inside them. That's difficult to accept. But human beings are more emotionally complex than most people realize. Psychologists even have a word for feeling pleasure from someone else's suffering, Schadenfreude. And while many people would never admit it, it happens constantly, especially when jealousy exists. There's another dangerous behavior hidden hatred creates: information gathering. People who secretly dislike you often ask many personal questions, not always because they care, Sometimes because information gives them power. They want to know your weaknesses, your insecurities, your problems, and later those details mysteriously appear in gossip. That's why emotionally intelligent people become careful about oversharing. Not everyone listening to you supports you. Some people study you. Another powerful sign is energy. Humans are deeply intuitive creatures. Your subconscious notices patterns long before your conscious mind understands them. That uncomfortable feeling around someone usually means something. Forced smiles, artificial warmth, strange tension. Your brain picks up micro behaviors automatically. That's why some people drain your energy even when nothing bad technically happened. Your nervous system senses emotional danger before logic catches up. And most people ignore intuition because they want to believe the best about others. But intuition exists for survival. There's a reason your body feels relaxed around certain people and exhausted around others. Energy matters a lot. Another thing hidden resentment creates is inconsistency. People who secretly dislike you are rarely emotionally stable around you. Sometimes they're supportive, sometimes cold, sometimes overly friendly, sometimes distant, because maintaining fake emotions is exhausting. No matter how hard someone pretends, the mask never stays perfect forever. Eventually, it slips, and those tiny moments reveal the truth people try so hard to hide, especially during stress. Stress exposes real emotions faster than anything else. Watch people carefully when they're angry, jealous, embarrassed, emotionally overwhelmed, because truth rarely appears during calm moments. It appears during emotional ones. That's when hidden resentment leaks out through behavior. And one of the saddest realities in life is realizing not everyone supporting you actually wants you to win. Some people only enjoy your company when you're struggling because your struggle makes them feel comfortable. Your pain makes them feel safe. As long as you stay broken, insecure, stuck, they feel superior. But once you start evolving, once you begin growing, healing, succeeding, everything changes. The energy changes, the conversations change, the relationship changes. Suddenly there's tension, distance, coldness, and sometimes unexplained negativity because growth changes social dynamics. And unfortunately, not everyone grows with you. Some people secretly preferred the version of you that felt smaller, easier to control, less confident, less threatening. That's why self improvement sometimes costs relationships. Not because success changes you, because it reveals people. And perhaps the most painful truth of all, sometimes hidden hatred comes from people you genuinely loved, friends, partners, even family members, people you trusted completely. And betrayal from loved ones feels different because humans naturally expect emotional safety from close relationships. But emotional closeness does not always mean emotional purity. Some people love you and resent you at the same time because human emotions are complicated. Love, jealousy, admiration, bitterness, all can exist inside the same person simultaneously. That's why some relationships feel emotionally confusing. Someone may deeply care about you while secretly competing with you internally. And unless they heal their insecurity, that hidden resentment eventually damages the relationship. The truth is, emotionally healthy people don't need to destroy others. They don't feel threatened by someone else's success. They don't secretly celebrate failure. They don't compete with friends. Because secure people understand something insecure people never do. Someone else shining does not make you darker, but insecure minds see life differently. To them, everything is comparison, everything is status, everything is validation. And social media has made this even worse. Every single day, people compare lives, money, bodies, relationships, success, popularity, happiness. No wonder hidden resentment is becoming more common everywhere. People are emotionally overwhelmed, and many smile in public while silently suffering inside. But pain that remains unhealed eventually leaks outward into jealousy, passive aggression, fake support, silent competition, and hidden hatred. But here's something important to remember. Not everyone secretly hates you. Sometimes people are stressed, distracted, emotionally unavailable. Sometimes anxiety causes overthinking. That's why wisdom matters. Don't become paranoid. Become observant. There's a difference. Emotionally intelligent people don't assume everyone is against them. They simply pay attention to patterns, consistency, energy, behavior, because patterns reveal truth far more accurately than isolated moments ever can. And once you start recognizing these signs, something powerful begins to happen. You stop begging for acceptance. You stop chasing fake friendships. And you stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. And slowly, you become more protective of your peace, your energy, your time, your circle. Because life becomes much lighter when you stop forcing connections with people who secretly resent your existence. As people grow older, they realize something most young people don't understand yet. Peace is priceless, not attention, not popularity. Peace. Real peace comes from being surrounded by emotionally healthy people, people who genuinely celebrate your success, people who support your growth without feeling threatened by it, people who don't secretly compete with you. Those people are rare, but they exist. And once you find them, protect those relationships carefully, because authentic support is one of the rarest things in the modern world. At the end of the day, hidden hatred says more about the other person than it says about you. Healthy people don't obsess over destroying others emotionally. Only wounded people do that. So never shrink yourself just to make insecure people comfortable. Never hide your success to protect fragile egos. And never apologize for growing into a stronger version of yourself. Most importantly, trust actions more than words, because people eventually reveal themselves. Always. Sometimes slowly. Sometimes painfully. But truth always leaks through behavior in the end. And once you learn how to see it, you can never unsee it again. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to YouTube for more deep psychology, hidden human behavior, and emotional intelligence.